Hollywood made you fear the T-Rex, it gave it thunderous footsteps, a roar that shook windows, and jaws that could snap through bone like paper. But there was a real predator, one far more terrifying, not just because of its size, though it dwarfed many of its rivals, not just because of its power, though it had that in abundance, but because it was something entirely different. It didn't roam the forests, it hunted in the water. It didn't rely on brute strength alone. It used stealth, strategy, ambush. It didn't come from fiction. This wasn't a lab experiment. This wasn't a mutant designed for cinema. This was evolution at its most brutal. We grew up hearing the same story. The dinosaurs ruled the world during the Jurassic. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was their king. But here's the truth. T-Rex never lived in the Jurassic. It didn't exist for another 80 million years. Tyrannosaurus roamed during the late Cretaceous, around 68 to 66 million years ago. By then, the world had changed, continents had shifted, climates had evolved, and so had the predators. T-Rex was formidable. No doubt, it had a bite force estimated at over 12,000 pounds per square inch. It stood over 12 feet tall at the hips and stretched nearly 40 feet long. But what if the biggest, most dangerous predator of all didn't chase prey across land? What if it lurked below the surface? The story of dinosaurs isn't just about claws and roars. It's about adaptation, competition, territory, and one species that took an entirely different evolutionary path. If Jurassic Park got the timeline wrong, what else have we misunderstood about the age of dinosaurs? In the spring of 1912, Ernst Stromer set out across the Sahara Desert in Egypt. What he found would become one of the most mysterious dinosaurs in history. The fossils were bizarre. Massive vertebrae with neural spines stretching nearly 6 feet tall, a skull that looked more like a crocodile than a theropod, teeth not serrated like a carnivore's, but smooth and conical, designed to grip, not tear. He named it Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, the spine lizard of Egypt, but the world wasn't ready for it. His colleagues dismissed the discovery. It didn't fit the image of a classic predator. Then, tragedy struck. In 1944, as World War II reached its climax, Allied bombs fell on Munich. The museum where Stromer's Spinosaurus was stored was reduced to rubble, the bones incinerated. Only sketches, photos, and fragments of notes survived. For the next 60 years, Spinosaurus was more myth than science. A name without a skeleton, a rumor lost in the dunes. How do you rebuild a monster when its body has been erased by war and time? When the first reconstructions of Spinosaurus emerged, they looked awkward, front-heavy, oddly proportioned, unnatural. But maybe that's because we expected the wrong thing. Unlike other apex predators like Allosaurus or Giganotosaurus, Spinosaurus wasn't built for land dominance. Its hips were narrow, its legs short and stocky. It couldn't run fast. It wasn't agile on land. But in water, its body told a different story. It had a long, slender tail, capable of lateral movement, flat feet that may have helped it paddle, nostrils placed high on its skull, so it could breathe while submerged. Its jaws were elongated, filled with interlocking conical teeth, the kind seen in fish-eating predators today, like gharials and crocodiles. Inside its snout were pressure-sensitive receptors, just like modern crocs, allowing it to detect movement in the water. This wasn't just a predator, it was a purpose-built hunter. A biological ambush system that dominated swamps, lakes, and rivers. Was this the first dinosaur to truly master water? And if so, What did that mean for everything we thought we knew about dinosaur evolution? When Jurassic Park 3 premiered in 2001, fans cheered at the spectacle. T-Rex versus Spinosaurus, Hollywood's ultimate dinosaur deathmatch. One bite, a neck snap, and the king was dethroned. But real science has no room for fantasy matchups. T-Rex lived in what's now North America. Spinosaurus ruled what is now North Africa. They were separated by entire oceans and about 30 million years. But comparisons persist. T-Rex had the strongest bite of any land animal ever measured. Spinosaurus? Likely less powerful, but it didn't need brute force. It hunted differently. It ambushed prey. It struck from cover, like a crocodile or barracuda. In a forest clearing, T-Rex wins. In a deep river, Spinosaurus would be the nightmare in the water. Maybe the question isn't who would win. Maybe it's why do we keep pitting them against each other when their real enemies were the environments they evolved to conquer? Spinosaurus was strange. There's no denying it. Its proportions were bizarre. Its spine looked like a sailboat. Its arms were massive, yet we still don't know exactly how it used them. Its hind legs were weak for a predator of its size. It didn't walk like other theropods. It may not have even stood upright on land. For years, paleontologists debated, was it bipedal, quadrupedal, something in between? It turns out it was something entirely unique. Its sail may have helped regulate body heat or attract mates. Its arms could have helped it push through water or secure prey. Its dense bones, unusual for dinosaurs, made it neutrally buoyant, ideal for swimming. Spinosaurus wasn't broken. It was optimized. What if the weirdest-looking predators were evolution's finest inventions? For decades, Spinosaurus reconstructions left out one crucial detail, the tail. In 2020, a dig in Morocco changed everything. Paleontologists uncovered nearly complete tail vertebrae. What they found was extraordinary. The tail wasn't tapering and narrow like other theropods. It was broad, flat, fin-like. It moved side to side like a paddle, more like an eel or a croc than a dinosaur. This was the proof. Spinosaurus wasn't just a semi-aquatic dinosaur. It was the first truly aquatic dinosaur ever discovered. Not a fluke, not an outlier, a whole new category of apex predator. And that tail? It's now the most important clue we have to how Spinosaurus lived and hunted. The Kem beds in Morocco are one of the richest fossil sites on Earth, and they reveal something astonishing. Spinosaurus didn't rule alone. It lived in an ecosystem overflowing with predators. Carcharodontosaurus, a massive meat-eater with shark-like teeth. Sarcosuchus, a 40-foot crocodile with crushing jaws. Giant lungfish, 10-foot sawfish, enormous turtles, and even armored freshwater coelacanths. This wasn't a peaceful environment. It was a prehistoric battlefield. But in the chaos of predators, Spinosaurus thrived because it evolved to fill a niche others ignored. It didn't compete on land. It owned the water. In a river filled with killers, how did Spinosaurus become the deadliest of them all? Then, without warning, Spinosaurus vanishes from the fossil record. No crater, no supervolcano, no global disaster, just absence. Some theories say its wetland environment slowly disappeared, replaced by drier climates. Others argue that changes in sea level cut off its food supply. Still others believe it simply lost the evolutionary arms race. Whatever the reason, Spinosaurus didn't go out in flames. It faded, no bones to mark its final days, no mass grave, just an eerie silence in the fossil record. So how do we track the extinction of a predator when time itself has erased its trail. Spinosaurus was more than a curiosity. It was a paradigm shift. For decades, dinosaurs were seen as land-bound lizards, then birds, then something more complex. Spinosaurus shattered that mold. It proved that some dinosaurs didn't just adapt to water. They thrived in it. Its legacy forces us to question everything. If one predator could break every rule, how many others have we misunderstood? How many fossils have we misclassified? How many environments have we underestimated? What else is buried out there, waiting to rewrite the rules of deep time? T-Rex was a terror on land. Spinosaurus was the nightmare of the rivers. Not a cinematic villain, not a theme park monster, but a living, breathing apex predator. It was real. It was terrifying. And for millions of years, it was unmatched. Forget Jurassic Park. Forget what you thought you knew. The truth is deeper, stranger, and it once ruled this planet. If this story made you rethink everything you knew about dinosaurs, there's more. Subscribe to Life Before Us for true stories of monsters, mysteries, and the ancient world we barely understand. Because the past wasn't just ancient, it was alive, and it was dangerous.